Hey everyone, Sean here, and today what I want to talk to you about is how your firm can manage to make sure that it has quality data so that you can fully leverage the capabilities of automation technologies. Now, the story I'm going to tell you is from back when I was younger. My father bought me a book which was for collecting pennies in this case. And when you open the book, opened like a typical binder would, and it had a specific slot for a specific penny from a specific year. And that's what the collection was all about. So over time, you would add pennies to it, and then you could kind of see what each of those designs looked like from each year, and you could see how that design changed over time. So as I got to work, kind of evaluating what I had available to me at the moment, which was any pennies that were in my immediate vicinity, I quickly realized that they fell into one of three categories. Either A, I already had the penny. It was decent quality. I could identify the year and I could add it to the collection. B, the penny had something wrong with it. It might have been just too dirty. I couldn't make out the year, and as such, I couldn't add it to the collection, at least not yet. Or C, I was simply just missing a penny for that year, and as such, it left my collection incomplete. Now, I knew what I needed to do in each of those instances, and the reason why I'm telling you this story is because the data that you're going to need to take advantage of automation technologies at your firm is going to fall into one of three similar categories. Now, what these categories are called is the first is referred to as available, and this is data that's accessible to you that you know is usable to answer the kind of questions that you want to answer. The second is referred to as dark data, and that's data that you may have available to you, but it may not be easily accessible or in a format that you need yet so that you can fully take advantage of it and add it to what you're trying to do with it. And then the third category is referred to as null data. And this is data that you're simply missing, and it can't really be used yet to answer questions that you might have because you just don't have it. So the question becomes, right, what does your firm need to do in order to close these gaps? Well, for the first category of available data, that data is something that you can use right away. You can start using this to answer questions, to start leveraging automation technologies, and to level up what your firm is capable of. But these other two categories, first with the dark data, that's data that you're going to either need to make more accessible, or you're going to need to modify to a certain extent in order to make sure that it's in the format that you can use these technologies with, because it needs to be in a certain format and be accessible enough to be used as an input into these models so that you can extract information from it. And the third category, or the null data category, is one where you're going to need to identify what's missing from the collection that you need in order to answer the questions that you have so that you can go find it from different sources. Now, there's different ways in which you can collect this data that may be missing, in that it can be typically purchased from external parties, or as an alternative option as well too, you can set up different types of sensors to start collecting this data at your firm or at your client's firm so that you have it for future use to answer those questions that you have and add it to your collection. So I just wanted to mention for you what these three categories were, which is available, dark, and null, different types of categories that the data that you may or may not have today may fall into, and that you're going to need a strategy for identifying the kind of data that you need and how you are going to gain access to it in order for it to be leveraged as input into your model so that you can fully take advantage of what automation technologies have to offer your firm so you can offer your clients more value. Now, if your firm needs any help with putting a data strategy together, that's something that I can help you with. If you'd like any help with that, feel free to learn more about me at my website at nextstep.io. That's nxtstep.io, or email me directly at Sean@nextstep.io. That's Sean, SEAN, at nextstep, nxtstep.io. Thank you for engaging with my content.